Hey, you guys talking over there. Awesome. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here on this auspicious occasion to celebrate the opening of Tofino's wastewater treatment plant. It's the district's pleasure to present a project that is on budget and ahead of schedule. My name is Aaron Rogers. I'm the Director of Infrastructure and Public Works for the District of Tofino. It's my pleasure to be the MC for the afternoon. My goal is to keep us moving fairly quickly and get us to the cake portion of the event, so about an hour from now. We're going to try to keep those speeches short. Gord, I'm looking at you. A couple of quick housekeeping items before we get into the speeches. Please turn off your phones or silence them at least. Remember, this is an active construction site and a fully functioning facility. Please be aware of your surroundings. If you're somewhere outside of these barriers, make sure you're wearing PPE and follow any direction from NAC staff. Washrooms are behind us there. There's an accessible washroom to the right. In the event of emergency, stay where you are. We'll give you direction. And lastly, from the hospitality group, please keep your glass and plate with you. We have very limited supply. That doesn't mean you can take it home afterwards. To begin with, I'd like to acknowledge that the wastewater treatment plant and today's event are located and taking place within the unceded territory of the Tofino First Nation. Today's event was to include a welcome from Elder Levi Martin of the Tofino First Nation, who could not attend, unfortunately, at the last minute, but sends his best regards. We're going to be hearing from Josie Osborne, Minister of Energy Mines and Low Carbon Innovation, and our MLA for Mid-Island Pacific Rim, Gord Johns, Member of Parliament for Courtney Alberni, Tofino Mayor Dan Law, Chief Administrative Officer Nyla Atiana, BC Hydro Representative Ted Olnick, Tofino Poet Laureate Janice Lohr, our Manager of Infrastructure and Capital Projects Simon Kirkland, and WSP designer Sarah Rise. Following speeches, we're going to cut the ribbon over here, pose for a group photo, and then take a tour with Simon around their facility, and then finish off mingling with snacks and cake. So, with no further ado, I'd like to invite MLA Osborne up to this podium.
Probably shouldn't adjust this because I'll screw it up, but hi everybody. It is so great to be here. I don't think I've ever seen somebody wearing a tie outside of a wastewater treatment plant. So Aaron, I've known Aaron for years, and the tie does not come out often. So that just does the dignity and honor of this occasion. I want to start too by acknowledging that we are here in Tofino territory, and I think that it's our privilege to live in this place, and anyone who's lived in Tofino for even a minute knows just how important it is to take care of this place, and that we have a real responsibility to live up to the stewardship that the Hatwia of the nation have led in this place for millennia. And the wastewater treatment plant is an absolute cornerstone of that commitment. There are so many stories that I could tell about the journey and my small part in that journey towards actually coming to today. I mean, I almost can't believe that this day has arrived. And we used to talk about this so much. What would it be like the day that we could proudly announce to the world that we are no longer putting raw wastewater into the beautiful waters of Clayoquot Sound? And yeah, hooray, hooray, hooray. Like, how many years has it been? It is a dream of those who have lived here for thousands and thousands of years, but it's a dream of this community, and it's an incredible amount of hard work that it takes to get to a day like today. And I'm not going to start thanking people because there are so many people that I probably would forget if I did that. But every single person who is here, whether you live here, you've worked on the project, you were working on it in the past, you're all part of this. And of course, part of it too is money. And we've had some difficult conversations as a community about what the cost would be and how that would impact our water and wastewater utility bills, and how much debt we were willing to take on as a community to make sure that we were doing the right thing And I think we made really good decisions. And we had amazing support from both the provincial and the federal government. So I want to take a moment now to express my gratitude for being part of a government that really believes in this kind of infrastructure and knows just how important it is to a community. I want to say congratulations on behalf of Minister Ann Kang. She is BC's Minister of Municipal Affairs and is the person who has signed off on the final parts of this project. But really, this is a real victory and a real accomplishment for this community. When I moved here 26 years ago, we had a shellfish closure area that was quite small, right around where the outfall is, and no harvesting of shellfish because of the risk of contamination and the risk to human health. And over the years, that shellfish closure area has grown bigger and bigger and bigger as more people moved here and more people visit here. And I am so looking forward to the next few years to see that shellfish closure area grow smaller and smaller and smaller, because we know that finally we're doing the right thing. We're taking care of this breadbasket, Clayoquot Sound, that sustains us all. And I'm just so proud of everything that we've managed to do with this project. So I'll just stop now because Erin said short. But thank you so much. It's a real privilege to serve this community, and I'm just so thrilled that Eileen brought her poop emoji pillow, and that we went on some tours with this thing around to other wastewater treatment plants on the island. But again, just to say congratulations and thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you, MLA Osborne. Our next speaker is Tofino Mayor Dan Law.
Get the master over here. Oh, there you go. I gotta remember that folder thing. That's a good idea. Mine's all wrinkly. I need a little bit longer because I have to thank a lot of people. We can start out Wikshahinchukwa. That is the traditional Chalmouth welcome at an official ceremony. Uklash Danlaw, Iiats Tlaoquiat Hahuthi. We are, as our MLA Josie Osborne says, on the traditional territory of the Tlaoquiat people. And the Chalmouth people who have inhabited these lands for well over 10,000 years. And I'm so thankful that the Tlaoquiat are willing to share some of their wisdom that they have learned from stewarding these lands for time immemorial. Heshuk Ish Sawak, which is all things are one. And when we care for the environment, we care for each other. And we care for generations that will come long after we are gone. That's a wonderful thing to share. I know it's been really disruptive. I know this, it's funny. I was thinking about it. There's been businesses that have had giant holes and construction equipment outside their business for a long time. And it seems like there's a lot that we all could complain about. And yet, honestly, I've heard so little complaining. And the complaining that I do here is part of my job, actually, is people complain to me. So feel free. But the complaining that I do here is always couched with a clause, a final clause. Well, it'll be over, and we know that it's for a good thing. This is a fantastic thing. It's hard to explain how fantastic it is, because we know that in a year everybody's going to forget about it. The sewage is just going to go out mysteriously as it always has. But we know that what we're doing is amazing. And it just goes to show to me what a resilient and visionary community that we have. That when we share a goal and we tackle it, even the most difficult challenge, we do it together. And so I just want to say to the residents and the businesses and the community members, you've shown an amazing amount of support and patience. I also want to say thank you to the project team. and I'm going to leave the specifics to Mr. Rogers, but WSP NAC, fantastic work. District staff, and we have generations of different staff. We've got Bob. Say hi to Bob. Bob did a lot of heavy lifting as our CAO, and pass it off to Nyla Nasetiana, who will come up herself. Fantastic work. It really is. I have people emailing me, asking me how our project can be on time and on budget, and their communities can't. I got one this morning, actually, so it's a great thing. But you know, like Josie says, nothing happens without money. And so I do want to say how profoundly grateful we all are for crucial contributors, the federal government, provincial government, which I will come back to. I know you're all in a hurry, but and our tourism sector, our fixed roof accommodation providers, who have through the MRDG program been contributing a significant amount, $400,000 a year, towards this capital project. And it's just one example of how our tourism sector, our larger fixed roof accommodation providers, are supporting our community and our environment. I want to say something about the federal government, because they're in Ottawa, you know, but we have Gord Johns. And I got to say, give me a hand, I really do. They told me I had 2 minutes, but I know I have 5. It's kind of like the Oscars, you're like, oh my God. But Gord Johns, look, at a crucial time in this project, where there was a potential that it would miss windows, and it would have a really difficult time getting forward, Gord Johns stepped up and took it personally, worked very hard, directly with Minister LeBlanc. And it's because of that, within a very short window of time, because of Gord's hard work and his determination and his advocacy for this community and this project, that it was able to get done in an essential window of time. And I can't stress how important that is, that Gord was able to get the Minister LeBlanc to take this on personally. I also want to say something about our MLA, wonderful minister, Josie, also at a crucial time for funding to get this project forward. Josie took this on personally. She worked behind the scenes incredibly hard. And they are two individuals that I'm honored to say that we are so very well represented in Ottawa and Victoria. And without them, this project would have been much more difficult to get forward. I also want to say thank you to the Tloquit First Nation, who have been there at every step of the way, who have been essential advocates for funding and for support from every level of government, the federal government, provincial government, local, and our business community. I look forward to working with Tloquit First Nation more on major projects. It's been a joy. Again, thanks for all being here. Thanks for continuing to protect, preserve, and cherish the environment that makes Tofino and Clayoquot Sound so extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Law. Next, I would like to call to podium Member of Parliament, Gord Johns.
Great day. This is a great day. Aklama Yasaksa. It's my Nuu-chah-nulth name. And it is so great to be home in Tofino, Tloquit territory. with a big celebration today. And there are so many people to thank. I'm grateful that you're here, Bob. I remember sitting on council in 2008 talking with you about this. And Nyla, you always find a way to get things done, Nyla. I can't say enough. And through really difficult challenges. And I know you watched the money. This is a hard one. This was a tough one. And Aaron, just congrats. Like, way to go in getting this across the finish line. And hands up to the people that sat on the Wastewater Management Committee. I think, Eileen, you were there from the get-go. All of you, like, just your passion to make sure that we're doing what's right and our duty to protect the environment, to live up to the teachings and the values of Tloquit and their ancestors, and important role that we play. This is just an incredible achievement. And I know, Josie, you're not going to try to take too much credit, but this doesn't happen without you. You were mayor that pushed hard and became the MLA. I don't get money from Ottawa for this community without support from the provincial government, without a commitment from the provincial government for a project this size, and you're instrumental in making this happen. This is the largest investment, not just in the history of Tofino, but all of the history in Tofino put together from the federal government. And it's long overdue. We had decades where we couldn't get money. We were just too far from Ottawa, where they didn't care. And we put a lot of money in the coffers in the banks in this country, in Ottawa, to help communities across this country have success. So it's our turn on this project so that we can do the responsible thing. And I'd like to say that this is such a gift, that this is our priority, protecting the oceans and the ecosystem. These are the values of the people of Tofino. And I'm grateful today. Dan, I can't say enough. I mean, there was a lot of silence at the end of a couple of those calls when you were calling me for the size of the money that you were asking for. You came to Ottawa, you pushed hard, you were relentless. And your argument about the important role that Tofino plays in standing up for the environment, for the economy, for the people of our community, you got this across the finish line. Without your push, it wouldn't have happened. And determination, and demanding that it had to happen, that we had to find a way through it. So I thank you, Dan, and to all the workers, all the people that made this project happen. Simon, your team, everybody here. We can't say enough about the team in the District of Tofino, all the workers, and just grateful to be home to celebrate such a victory for the environment and for the community. Click all.
I'm just going to pause for a minute to move Gord's tent over top of me. A big hand of applause for Tofino Public Works. And Adam and Mike. Next. I can't believe I forgot this one. The next person I'd like to invite up to the podium is our CAO from the District of Tofino, Nyla Tatiana, and my boss. So.
Personally, Aaron? Okay. I too only have 3 minutes, but I think I might take a little bit longer. It's difficult to get emotional about wastewater, but I might, because I'm going to be talking about my staff. So bear with me. First of all, welcome everyone. I'm extremely proud to be standing here today to celebrate this momentous occasion for our region, one that we've been looking forward to for a very long time. This is an important day for many of my staff who have worked diligently and tirelessly on this project. This project was decades in the making. There are many people here, sitting here today, who contributed to this project. Without the perseverance of these individuals, we would not have been able to complete our liquid waste management plan, receive the necessary grant funding from the provincial and federal governments, thank you, and arrive where we are today with an operational wastewater treatment facility. The unique and innovative collaborative project approach between the District of Tofino, North American Construction, and WSP, our engineers on the project, was one that all parties were willing to participate in. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, NAC and WSP, for working with us on delivering this project together and with great success. NAC, you have been a part of our community, not just working in our community throughout the duration of this project. You have gone above and beyond during emergencies resulting from extreme storms to help us address critical infrastructure challenges to restore services to our community. Those are times that we will forever be grateful for and have become meaningful memories of the project. I have the honor of leading a team of employees that I would describe as hardworking, problem solvers, innovators, and individuals of extremely high integrity. I walk into work each day knowing how unique our team is, and I am grateful to my predecessor, Bob McPherson, and Mayor and Council through the results of their last strategic plan, who provided me with the organizational structure and resources that my team needed to be successful in this project and in all the services we offer to the community. Our success as a local government translates into success for our community. Today is about celebrating this success together. A major infrastructure project like this one does not happen successfully without a supportive internal project team made up of senior staff, including the Director of Infrastructure and Public Works, the Chief Administrative Officer, Manager of Financial Services, along with the Project Manager and the CAO. This team met weekly to discuss project milestones, cash flows, finances, and it didn't stop there. Staff from every department in the municipality were required to offer support and services to this project, and often needed to prioritize these tasks. Thank you everyone for your efforts and collaboration on this project. You all deserve to be celebrating today and contributing to this success. I don't often get to stand in front of a crowd like this and talk about my talented staff, so I'm going to continue in that vein for a moment longer. Just have one more page. Simon Kirkland is the district lead and project manager for the wastewater treatment plant and has been since before we broke ground. I'm not going to lie, when we embarked on this project, it felt unsurmountable. Simon has the ability to put a comprehensible box around a very complex project, and this is an invaluable skill in a project manager. He met with our internal project team on a weekly basis to update us on the progress in a clear and very understandable way. He valued the expertise that our members of the internal project team brought to the table and incorporated our feedback into the project in a very effective way. He sent weekly updates to Mayor and Council and the senior management team to ensure we were all aware of major project milestones. He updated the community through regular communications and presentations to Council. Simon offered tours to all staff, Mayor and Council, and many of our partners who are here today. We all felt like a part of this project, and today I hope we all feel like a part of this success. Simon, you've been an exemplary leader on this project. Thank you for looking out for the district's interests, for the patience in bringing us all along, and for your consistent communication throughout the project. You made it look effortless, but I know you will be needing a vacation very, very soon. Just not yet. So, in closing, I'd like to thank everyone for supporting us and believing in us. This was not a small task, but it was one. But we have proven our local government as a small community who can face a significant challenge and rise to the occasion. We could not have done it without all of you, so thank you.
Thanks, Nyla. Next, I'd like to invite Ted Olnick from BC Hydro to come say a couple of words.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to say something here today. BC Hydro is part of electrification. We're doing a lot of work, a lot of projects across the province and on Vancouver Island. And some of them are just projects. But sometimes you do something, you can feel it within the team, within the staff, that it's a special project, it's special work. You realize you're doing something. And the local people involved, crews from across the island involved in this. Certainly, like any project, there's going to be challenges in what we face and how we had to deal with it. But trying to put 300 poles through Canada's probably arguably the best park in the national park in Canada, certainly not an easy task, despite what anybody will tell you. Definitely challenging. Doing the vegetation management work. All the parties involved, everyone's fighting for something special. That's because of this place. This place is special, and that's why people work so hard to make it happen, and we're happy that it was on time and the work that went into this. There was a lot of roadblocks in the way, literally, with the roadblock that happened at Cameron Bluff. You may not remember it. Some of you may remember that. Oh, sorry. Everybody will remember that if you lived out here. And the challenge that faced. How do we get crews in? Well, Al's here, and he brought in crews. They used all the back roads they could to get here, realizing this was the opportunity to seize on, making sure crews could get here, and there'd be the minimal impact. This is the best time to do the work. Brought in crews from Vernon, brought in crews from all over the lower mainland to help expedite the work, because taking advantage of that window when there'd be the minimal impact on the community. We don't like to impact communities. We have to do our work. We don't do it because we're bored, but we do it for the community, but we want to make sure we minimize the impact that we do. So, hats off to Lynn and design and to the other people in the project team. It was a lot of work that went into it. And it's a lot of pride in the work that the crews put into it. Not just because the job is done, but because I know that they did the job well. So, thank you very much.
It's my extreme pleasure to invite up Janice Lohr and her choir. Janice is Tofino's Poet Laureate.
You're good.
Before I begin, I would like to introduce the choir that's accompanying me today. The Smooth Moves. Featuring Sandy Rideout, Therese Bouchard, Pam Frazee, Joanna Streetley, Jeanette Martinolich, and Sully Rogalski, who is also on guitar. I'd like to thank them for catching this wave and surfing it. I'd also like to give a shout out to former Tofino resident and district councillor Greg Blanchette, who wrote the original lyrics to the song, and to Sandy Rideout, who updated and added to them. I have been asked to contemplate something that we prefer not to think about. That is In fact, considered impolite conversation in good company. In spite of my reservations, I offer these poetic sketches. The flush of our success. Scatological sketch number 1. I have too much to say. Verbal diarrhea, you might call it. It's almost impossible to resist the temptation to be scatological, a delightfully comprehensive word covering the study of scat, the obsession with poop, and the pee my pants hilarity of potty humor. Scatological sketch number 2. Wikipedia warns us right up front not to confuse scatology with eschatology, the study of end times, capital E, capital T. Perhaps not in danger of confusion, Wikipedia, but of cause and effect. Dire warnings about the consequences of eternal, untreated flushing by an exponentially expanding population. Humans, the ecosystem, done in by our own filth. Sketching a concise history of sewage systems and flush toilets. Millennia since mankind learned to flush in surprisingly diverse places. The Orkneys, ancient Sumer, the Indus Valley, China, Egypt, Crete. 2,000 years since the Romans built their sewage systems and public latrines. 600 years since Thomas Brightfield created the ancestor of our modern convenience, the flush toilet. It was not convenient and didn't catch on. 400 years since Queen Elizabeth I sat on a throne that her godson, Sir John Harrington, designed. A novelty that seemed not to sufficiently amuse. 160 years since Thomas Crapper refined the innards of the toilet, built a showroom, turned it into a respectable household fixture. Only in the last century, any real progress on the urban problems of providing a reliable inflow and how to deal with all that outflow. And still, the river runs to the sea.
The river runs to the sea. The river runs to the sea.
Sketching the funding of public works, the largesse of the Roman elite, who sensibly would rather fork over gold coins to build public latrines for slaves and the poor than wade through human waste in the streets. In their own homes, a private privy, a lavish outhouse, chamber pots and cesspits emptied by slaves, night soil for the gardens and farmers' fields. Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
The patronage of the magnificent Roman baths loudly acclaimed the funding of public latrines, strangely anonymous. Sketching the Roman sewer system from a seat in the public latrines. If we were Romans, we might be meeting in a public latrine, perched around the room on marble seats, unselfconsciously planted thigh to thigh, togas hoisted. Never mind the stink, the vermin crawling in the open channel under the seats. We are admiring the frescoes on the walls, discussing the price of bread in the empire, news of the wars at the frontier, the coming entertainment at the Colosseum. Without thought for the flush of grey water from the nearby public bath that whisks our waste away, a labyrinth of channels carrying it through the triple-arched maw of the Cloaca Maxima into the Tiber River. And the river runs to the sea.
The river runs to the sea. The river runs to
sketching Tofino and plumbing its depths. 50 years since Tofino's outhouses and septic tanks, flushed by 3 meters of rain, filtered by sand, were replaced by municipal sewer pipes dumping into Dauphin Passage, whisked by the tide into Templar Channel. Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. The river runs to the sea. The river runs to the sea.
30 years since the Sound magazine reported the environmental impacts of our sewer system, the struggle from the frontier to get Rome's attention, petition for government largesse. 13 years since Greg Blee wrote a little ditty about surfing in Tofino.
And everybody was surfing.
We gather at Rhino, the Common Loaf, discuss the cost of rent and groceries, what is on Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV, the wars in Gaza and the Ukraine on the frontier of our awareness. Our outfall seeping unfiltered into our collective conscience, brought to our attention by beach whistles, brown tide lines, strange rashes, the scrutiny of 1 million tourists a year, signs that warn, do not eat the shellfish. And finally, gold coin from the realm. And what ran unacknowledged under our roadways is laid open, excavated, 2 years of streets closed, excavated, open for one-way traffic, closed, dug up again. Today, we are flushed with success, impatient as people in line for a public toilet, to cut ribbons, proclaim the names of our patrons and champions. Of course, I am disappointed there is no marble, there are no frescoes. But I am relieved we are finally plumbing the depths of our environmental transgressions. And I am thankful how the will of our community, engineering and wastewater science are helping to align the lowliest of things with our highest values. We sit on our surfboards, riding the swell, singing the past away, the future into being, singing the praises of our community, our benefactors, in the gift of clean water.
Everybody's in the ocean, here in Tofino, yay. And everybody is surfing in the northern way. We're all wearing our wetsuits, our gloves and booties too. 'Cause everybody's got a skin rash from surfing in our crew. The cats are surfing at dawn. And the break off space in the middle beach line and out tumbling waves all over wickedness to the radar too. Everybody was surfing in our crew. We needed secondary treatment for our human waste. 'Cause we flushed it in the ocean
Wow. I think I literally laughed and I cried. That's amazing. Thank you, Janice Lohr and the Smooth Moves. For our final speaker that I'll be introducing, I'd like to introduce Simon Kirkland, who's our Manager of Infrastructure and Capital Projects, a friend of mine, and I would say 50% of the reason this project got done. So please put your hands together for Simon Kirkland.
All right, I'm going to keep this short and try to thank all the folks on the project team as I can here. Got a couple notes, but yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this historical day for the community, for our community. Standing here, I can't help but feel a big, like a deep sense of pride for what, historically what everyone before the actual planning and construction of this phase of the project has, but everyone else that's been involved in this. It's a huge testament of the strength, dedication, and collaboration of this community, of our entire community, which I've been a part of for 3 years. Kind of came here specifically with this project targeted in my mind, but really feeling like a part of this community now after being here for just about 3 years. First and foremost, I do want to extend our deepest and my deepest thanks to the Tloquet First Nation. The partnership, guidance, support, and just kind of learning about the culture since the Tloquet and Nuchaluth culture, which I have so much more to learn since I've been out here, has been very invaluable throughout the processes of this project. As the plant becomes operational, which we are in a commissioning stage right now, hence a little bit of the smell that will be dissipating as we do start to waste some of the sludge next week, which is a big milestone. We remain committed to protecting the natural space and rich marine ecosystems that the Tloquet Nation has carefully stewarded for millennia. So I think that's a very, very important thing. I also want to thank the residents and the businesses of town, of this area, for the patience over the last couple of years. This project's brought a lot of challenges, as other speakers have alluded to. Traffic delays, water shutoffs, park closures, lots of potholes, pavement week after a Labor Day long weekend. So we'll be getting finished by then with some of the road works and more. The patience and understanding of the community has been greatly appreciated, and this project wouldn't have been this close to being as much of a success as it is right now without everybody within the community. A big thank you to our federal and provincial funding partners. Thank you, MLA Osborne and MP Gord Johns. Thank you for coming out to represent here today. Your joint investment and unwavering support during the planning and now the construction phases has made this project a possibility for this community. For me personally, to the project team, I'm going to miss a lot of people here, but to the district staff, first and foremost to our utility operations team, this is a massive undertaking for our staff on a day-to-day basis. So thank you all, Scott, Christine, Brad, who's not here today, Chris, and Aaron, who's recently left us. Thank you guys for the days and days of unknowns and what's coming, and we are here now. So I really want to acknowledge you guys. Thanks, Aaron and Nyla, for the senior support. To Laura, you and your team in finance, we've had lots of challenges, lots of moving parts to manage on the finance end of things. I really want to acknowledge, starting with NEC as the prime contractor and WSP as the engineering team of record here. So Keith, Terry, Yemi, Emily, Gil, Matt, Duncan, Joki, Liam, Yemi, I think I might have said Yemi already, and all the staff, like tireless days, nights, weekends, trying to make this thing happen. Lots of long conversations, planning, days in and day out. To the WSP team, I'm just going to go with the project team. There's lots of engineers of record that had a part of designing this, but Felix, who's not here today, Bailey and Sarah, who are here today, and Carl, who's not here today. A lot of support and just collaborating with the contractors and making this happen and holding on to our goals and plans. Big player in this project as a subcontractor, Hazelwood. So Dave and Stephen, thank you for all your patience with all the random underground utilities that the choir just sang about that we have in the ground. A lot of pivoting, trying to make things keep moving forward. To White Pacific, I do have Jeremy and Nick here. There are eyes in the sky. Pierre, sorry, I didn't mention you before from the NAC team. Pierre's been working with these guys as well. Eyes in the skies, we can run this plant remote from a computer right now, which we couldn't a couple weeks ago, so that's a pretty big testament to just kind of easing the workload as it moves to our operational staff. And to Affordable Water Solutions, so they're helping to train our operators to get up to the required EOCP levels so we can competently operate at this facility. And to BC Hydro, because behind the scenes, this would not happen if we did not have this new resilient power grid system that we do have to the coast now. So thanks to everybody for the tireless work. Delivering this project ahead of schedule, within the budget, it's an incredible achievement. You don't usually see that in these type of projects in this day and age with scales of economy, unknowns, and everything that happens in the world. So thank you to everybody. I'm sure I missed people. Thank you to Redfish as well. Had to navigate a lot of stream crossings through the Tonquin corridor there. Sorry, in true awkward operational fashion, I lost my papers. But as this plant becomes operational, it officially ends the end of decades-long practice of discharging untreated raw sewage into the Pacific Ocean. In doing so here, as all the other speakers have said, we're taking a massive critical step forward in protecting the unique ecosystems that surround us, helping to set an example and show other communities that are in the same boat here in Canada that, you know, it is possible, you can make this happen. It takes a strong project team, identifying your project goals, making sure that everybody's working towards those same goals, which is delivering a project and making it happen safely with the highest level of quality. I'm pretty well at the end here because I know everyone wants some cake and snacks and have a quick walk around the facility. But yeah, as we move forward, this facility is going to serve the community well. One thing I do want to touch on is my own team, asset management, engineering team, Will, Pavel, Dan, Keith, Orchiston, who's no longer with us. Delivering this is massive, and handing this over, you know, tracking this facility, making sure that we're replacing things in a preventative and proactive way so that we can, you know, it's expensive, it's a lot of taxpayer investment, and make sure that we're responsible for how we operate this facility going into the long-term future. I think that's all I really have to say. Not the most for words, but I do want to introduce Sarah Reese, who's a massive part of this. She's a process engineer from WSP. She knows this facility as well as, if not better than any of us on the project team. She's been a huge part of dialing, as you can kind of, like, we're moving through our commissioning and process dial-in phase here. So Sarah's been working a lot on it, and she also wrote a song which was uniquely curated to the process of this actual facility. So I'd like everyone to give a warm welcome to Sarah Reese. She's going to share this song, so thank you.
Hi everyone. My name's Sarah, so I'm a small part of a really big engineering team here. I've been living in and out of Tofino half the time during the construction of this project, and this song was my contribution to public relations. So I sang at some of the local open mics, and I thought, a lot of people in town, like, they know that we're building a wastewater plant, but I think a lot of people don't know what is wastewater treatment and what is how does it work. So this is basically a preface to your tour. Wastewater management, who's dealing with your shit? If you don't know where your drain leads, just listen to me, I'll explain everything. And the first part of the process is to remove all the nonsense. We call it the headworks. It's the least pleasant to witness. Water flows through a screen and it removes the large debris. Then we slow down the speed and that's when the beach sand leaves. Now we're on to the next feature. It's called secondary treatment, where the organics get eaten in a vat of bacteria. It's a biological process. This one is called IFAS, where they grow on folded plastic and can handle tourist traffic. Though you may not know it, the system is aerobic. It needs air to keep it growing. The compressor is always blowing. You can hear it. Wastewater management, who's dealing with your shit? If you don't know where your drain leads, just listen to me, I'll explain everything. Now it's time for settling, and the tanks are really big, so the water sits for days and the cells can sink away. Now we're almost free and the water's pretty clean, still we blast it with UV for disinfecting, and the liquid stream is over and the water's in the ocean. But we have another focus, this bacteria we've been growing. So what we have to do is run it through a centrifuge, and the moisture gets removed and the cake can get moved. It can be quite simple, it gets taken to the landfill, but there's opportunity to compost everything. Wastewater management, who's dealing with your shit? If you don't know where your drain leads, I hope you listen to me. I just explained everything. Wastewater management, we're dealing with your shit. It takes a huge team to make the water clean, a whole process stream, a lot of piping, commissioning team. But I hope you can see how cool it can be. Thank you. Enjoy the tour.
Okay, I have no more notes, so I'm a little unclear what happens next. But I think, actually, no, we're going to cut the ribbon over here. So, Keegan, I don't know who your ribbon team is. Cindy knows the ribbon team. Cindy?
Yes. So I need Sabrina Donovan. I need MLA